You will be holding your breath after reading today's article, because every second contains a fragment of this exquisite and poignant trip. Make sure you watch through to the finish. It all began when our Korean drama queen Sun Ye-Jin had to make the most difficult choice of her life. Few anticipated witnessing her publicly break down, as she was known for her strength and grace. However, it is precisely what took place. "This is the hardest decision I've ever had to make," she said as she stood in front of reporters during what was meant to be a joyous press event, her voice barely above a whisper. "Furthermore, I'm still unsure if it's the correct one." It was immediately apparent that this was about more than just her profession. This was something far more profound, something that affected her identity as an actress and mother as well as her family and heart. Longer social media silences, postponed appearances, and then her spouse Hyun been attending a movie premiere by himself, were all spotted by fans. Rumors started to circulate. It was emotional fatigue, according to some. Others were afraid of a hidden disease. The truth, however, was excruciatingly beautiful and much more nuanced. Sun Ye-Jin had been offered a significant role in a global movie that was specifically scripted for her. It was an opportunity to push herself as an artist, but it also meant spending a lot of time apart from her family. She was trembling when she eventually showed the script to Hyun Bin. Despite his own fear, Hyun Bin stood by her side at that very time. "He got it. Do what your heart needs," he said, with a modest nod. Then came the painful farewell. Sun's small voice rang on the phone as she was leaving the airport to catch her journey to Prague, inquiring as to when she would return home. She was broken by that call. Unable to conceal her tears, she collapsed to her knees. Millions of people were moved by the scene, which was photographed by bystanders and swiftly shared online. Sun Ye-Jin, however, had the strength to continue despite the tears. She disappeared for a second. Supporters were afraid. However, a message that read, "I am not one or the other," suddenly surfaced. "I'm a mom. I'm an actress. I'm permitted to be both." Soon later, a picture of her holding her son barefoot on Jeju Island, with Hyun Bin's hand resting softly on her back, surfaced. It was a strong picture of a family that opted for love and unity rather than a spectacular press announcement. When filming restarted, much had changed. Her life was reflected in the production. On set, there were storybooks next to screenplays, toys close to cameras, and a nursery. Everyone on set felt the impact of her emotive performances, as her personal life was seamlessly woven into her play. She didn't just act it, the director subsequently stated. She experienced it firsthand. Hyun Bin was by her side the entire time. He provided her with the silent support she required, pushed the stroller, and shielded her from the cameras. She wasn't fleeing from her family, he said in a loving letter. Rather, they met her where she was discovering who she was. The movie got great reviews when it first came out. Critics said that it was testimony rather than merely acting. Sun Ye-Jin clarified. "However, I didn't return for awards. I returned to demonstrate courage to my son." She was seen clutching her son's hand during the last news conference. "The real drama wasn't scandal," she replied, grinning at the cameras. "It was affection." She then left in silence, stronger than before but not broken. Sun Ye-Jin reinvented what it means to be a star, not merely a way to go back into the spotlight. She demonstrated that it is possible to be a mother, an artist, and an unapologetic woman who makes her own decisions. And although many questioned whether Hyun Bin was the cause of her difficulties, it turns out that he supported her during it all and was the calm in her storm. Additionally, keep in mind that there are always more lovely tales to be found, so make sure to read through to the conclusion.